This was my husband's idea. I thought it was cute. Anyway, stepped back for a second and looked at it. And one of the things that I like, that I've been a little bit obsessed with, is this rib cage shape. And I just noticed it now, how it almost kind of echoes the marks that I made in here. So this is still a little bit wet. It's almost dry. But what I thought I would do in a minute is I'm going to go in and color part of this in with white. I also step back. I love this heart shape and the little lines that I just made up in here. So I thought I would color these in just to give it a different look. Again, I didn't pre-plan anything. I like to take the what if approach when I go to work in my journal. Nice thing about working with paint markers on top of a glossy surface, if I didn't like this, I could wipe it right off. One thing that I thought about is I love this red shape in here. Sorry. But I want to make it a little bit more, I want to pop it a little bit more. Oh, be careful too sometimes if your hands are wet. I just wiped them before I started filming. If you're working on top of the water-soluble pencils, you can very easily smudge it and wipe it away. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to flip this again just to make it easier. Go in and not totally outline over it, but almost kind of like trace over it. See how I like to have, I might need to refill this. I like to have scrap paper near me as I work. Where's my refill bottle? This is what I usually do to get it started. I'll sit and I'll kind of play around with it. And I'm going to pause this for a quick second because I don't know where my refill bottle is. So this is an older bottle of the black ink that I use, but the design is exactly the same. What you want to do is, I always like to have a baby wipe or rag or something nearby, but you're going to take this top part off. So see how it looks something like this. Don't squeeze this bottom part, because if you have ink in it, it can go everywhere. But I just pull this off. Now it looks like it has ink in it, but I bet if once I really look at it, it doesn't. I'm going to wipe this part off. Yeah, that's empty. So what I usually do is just take the nozzle, and you want to drop, usually drop about 6 or 7, oops, little dots of ink into here. I'm going to close the cap on this, make sure it's nice and tight because it is a permanent ink. Put that to the side. Then to put it back together, push this down, take the bottom part. Remember what I was telling you earlier? You just very slowly and gently twist until it stops. Don't force it. And then I usually have baby wipe. I wipe off any of the excess ink. Now, I'm just wiping off the wet. They tell you not to do this, but I've been doing this for years. Put the cap on and just shake it a couple of times, tip down just to get the ink flowing. Piece of scrap paper nearby. And yay, pen is working. It just needed more ink. It's 80 degrees here today, and sometimes these things dry out faster than we want them to. So I'm just going to go in now and start to outline over what I was telling you guys before. So see how you get a different look and it pops it a little bit more with the outline. What I like, the reason why I use the water-soluble pencil as opposed to a paint marker was I wanted it more subtle. I didn't really need this red mark to be in your face. Come on. Oh, see a little dot in the page. Sometimes if it's not dry, this happens, so that's why I like to have the dry scrap paper on hand to be able to go in and kind of just gently play with the pen until I get it flowing and moving. One of my friends called me a pen whisperer. I'm like, I don't know about that. I like my stuff to work. And that's the little trick that I found works for me. So I might use this little dot down here to go in and make some more dots on my page. And just so that I don't end up smearing this, I might take a little bit of a paper towel, pull a print, and make a few more additional marks. So we learn from making mistakes and trying new things. So, oops, and I put my finger right in it. Aha! So I'll go ahead and make it look like I did it on purpose. There you go. So I've got this so far. Then I thought maybe I'll go in and trace over these lines. So see how you get a different look where it looks like here versus down here. If I wanted to pop this red some more, I can let my ink dry and go over it with the same water-soluble pencil and water brush pen. But like I said before, I kind of like the subtlety of it. So it looks like that so far. I'm going to wipe off the tip of my pen. Then what I wanted to do was to go in and color in some of these marks that I had made in here, not too many of them. Just again, because it's different. So to step back for a second, look at it, figure out what's working and what's not working. And I'm going to come back in another second for the next video. Thanks.